Hey everyone, welcome back to All About Panama, your number one. Stop for everything epic in the heart of the Americas. Today, we're diving deep, literally and historically, into one of the most fascinating engineering matches of all time. Panamax Ships and the Panama Canal. These giant ships were designed with one thing in mind: squeezing through one of the most important waterways on the planet. But how did we end up designing ships around a canal? And what happens when they get too big? A Panamax ship is a vessel that was specifically built to fit through the original locks of the Panama Canal. That means it's no wider, no taller, and no longer than the maximum dimensions allowed by the canal before its expansion. Here are the max Panamax dimensions. Length, 965 feet. Width, beam, 106 feet. Height, air draft, 190 feet. Draft, how deep it sits, 39.5 feet. Basically, if you're a Panamax ship, you're playing the world's tightest game of Tetris every time you pass through. The Panama Canal was completed in 1914, and it quickly became the most strategic shortcut for ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. So when shipping companies realized they could save weeks of travel time and thousands in fuel costs by using the canal, they started designing ships to fit the locks exactly. That's how the Panamax class was born, not from a shipyard, but from the dimensions of concrete and steel dug into the Isthmus of Panama over 100 years ago. So how does this all work? The original Panama Canal uses a lock system to raise and lower ships between sea level and the elevation of Gatun Lake. When a Panamax ship enters a lock chamber, giant gates close behind it. Water is then either added or drained using gravity-fed systems. No pumps needed raising or lowering the ship step by step until it reaches the next level. It's like an elevator for ships, except the elevator is filled with millions of gallons of water and moves vessels the size of skyscrapers. But as global trade exploded, Panamax ships eventually hit their limit. So in 2016, Panama unveiled the new locks called the Panama Canal Expansion, or third set of locks. This allowed for new Panamax or Neo-Panamax ships, much larger vessels carrying up to 14,000 containers, compared to the old Panamax's 5,000. Today, many shipping companies build vessels to fit these newer, bigger dimensions. But the original Panamax class is still alive and well, serving routes and ports that can't handle the big boys. Piloting a Panamax ship through the canal is a high-stakes game. Every transit is guided by expert Panama Canal pilots who literally board the ship and take control. With only 2 feet of clearance on each side, there's zero room for error. In fact, electric locomotives called mules help guide the ship and keep it perfectly centered through the locks. Captains describe it as a nerve-wracking yet awe-inspiring process, like threading a needle with a skyscraper. So what's the future for Panamax ships? Well, they're still hugely important. Not every port can handle massive Neo-Panamax ships, and Panamax vessels are more fuel efficient on certain routes. Plus, the Panama Canal Authority continues to maintain and modernize the original locks, ensuring Panamax ships remain a vital part of global trade. The Panama Canal isn't just a shortcut. It's a story of engineering adapting to nature, and then engineering adapting to engineering. Panamax ships are the perfect example of how infrastructure can shape the very tools we use to navigate the world. Its history, trade, technology, and precision all sailing through the same narrow channel. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe to All About Panama, and tell us in the comments. Would you want to pilot a Panamax ship through the canal? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.